Welcome back. There are plethora of funds available in the market to invest your hard-earned money, but how do you assess which is the right fund for your portfolio? What are the criteria that one should look at to help you navigate through this maze? We have on board Kaustubh Belapurkar, Director Fund Research, Morningstar Investment Advisor India Limited. Also, do not forget to send us your portfolio queries on our WhatsApp number, which is 865-797-4571. You can also email us your queries on themoneyshow@etnow.tv. Good evening, Kaustubh, and welcome to the show. We have our first viewer who wants to ask his question to you. We are joined by Yogendra Kumar from Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. Good evening, Mr. Yogendra. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you so much for sending us your queries. So I can see you have two goals lined up. One is your daughter's marriage, for which you have invested.
4 years ahead.
Okay. And there is a second.
Another goal, my retirement goal, that is for 8 to 9
Sure.
years.
Sure. Okay. Anything else that you want to add? Because for your daughter's marriage, you have ICICI Pru Equity Hybrid. You have PPF investment that's maturing in 4 years, and you've invested in gold. Okay. And Axis
Right.
Ultra short term. Okay. Since how many years are you investing in all of this?
No, actually, that hybrid fund, I started investing from 2018 onwards.
Okay.
This year I rebalanced everything and changed my funds also. Earlier I had two ELSs and
Okay. Okay.
To another two funds. But I stopped everything and I'm sitting in a good profit too. So
Okay.
I lined up my goals and accordingly I planned and
What is the corpus that you need?
Actually, I haven't decided the corpus. I need the returns only about 10 to 12%. That is my requirement.
Okay. Kaustubh, let's start with the marriage goal first.
Sure. So I think, a couple of things that I've heard from, Yogendra in terms of what he did. So I think the good part is that, like he highlighted, he did reshuffle some of his equity funds and perhaps get into some, book those profits because, the goal is not very far away, 3-4 years down the line. So I think the most important thing to do is protect capital and grow at a reasonable rate rather than expect very, very high returns from the portfolio because, and that could come at the cost of volatility, which would actually impact the portfolio value. So I think that's the first good step that Yogendra has taken in his portfolio and kind of selling off some of the equity or ELSS funds that he owned. When I look at the portfolio and I talk about the three sort of components of it, right? So there's obviously the equity hybrid, which is a allocation fund which largely holds equity. But when I think about it from an overall portfolio context, it's still pretty reasonable because there's 20% odd in equity and the remaining 80% in debt if I exclude the gold, which Yogendraji's spoken about, but we'll talk about that in a short while. So I think broadly, I'm quite happy with the portfolio construct. The only thing I would advise to think about is the return expectation needs to be more realistic. 10 to 12% over a 3-4 year horizon is it's quite high. You can only achieve that, say equity markets were to do exceedingly well, but the probability of that necessarily happening is not. We don't know what the future holds for the markets in the short term. So I think that expectation needs to be kind of pegged back because right now fixed income yields are obviously while they're at higher levels than what they were a couple of years or last year. But you're not going to get 10 to 12% with a largely fixed income portfolio. I think the portfolio construct is great. Only the expectation in terms of returns need to kind of be aligned downwards into high single digits is my estimate, given that there's some equity exposure in that portfolio. I'm not very sure of the gold investment that Yogendra has made. I suspect it's probably one of the gold saving schemes with that the jewelers offer. I know buying gold and jewelry.
So, Kaustubh, we can actually get this verified. Yogendra also wants to ask you something else. Yogendra?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I would like to know the number of funds in my portfolio, are they enough?
Sure. We'll go on that, but then also the clarification on your gold investment, which I also had a doubt on that. What kind of investment is it?
It's a chip in the gold showroom, GRT showroom.
It's the
11 months we need to pay the equated monthly amount.
Yeah. Got it.
Then they will provide without the wastage in the making charge.
All right. Kaustubh.
Right. Sure. Sure. So I think, obviously it's a very emotional decision, daughter's marriage and to buy gold. And so the only few things, I mean, I would urge not just Yogendraji, but, all the viewers that the first thing we need to ascertain is these are gold saving schemes that, jewelers will promote. And it's important to understand the pedigree of the jeweler before you buy into any of these schemes. And I'm sure Yogendraji has done that. But, just for the wider audience, I think that's an important thing to note. The other thing, it becomes like a marketing tool, which attracts a lot of people thinking about that, the last installment either is waived off or, I get a discount on that. Remember, there's no free lunch.
Right.
Essentially, they're taking the money from you in advance starting month one till month 11 or 12, and then you can buy gold at the prevailing price as of that day.
All
Right?
right.
So I think that's important to keep in mind. Another way of doing it, and probably a nicer way, which may not sound intuitive, but you could actually do an SIP into a gold fund and gold ETF, where you can lock in values of gold because.
Okay, so that is something that Yogendra needs to keep in mind when it comes to gold investment. And with that, I think the time is up. Kaustubh, thank you so much for being on the show and helping our viewers through the important goals in life. And I'll sign off today, but then I'm going to leave you with our WhatsApp number and email ID, wherein we are waiting for your portfolio-related queries, which our guest will be answering live on the show. Goodbye. India is considered the fastest growing